Once the season had finished, I was hoping that fairly quickly we would discover the verdict to Lucas Paqueta's hearing over his spot fixing allegations. Whether he's found guilty or not guilty, I was hoping it would come to a conclusion pretty quickly and Lucas Paqueta and West Ham United can start to look to the future and start to move on from this. Well, I say move on, I think there's more to come regardless of the outcome. But at least we could hear the verdict and discover whether or not the FA have found him guilty or not guilty. Then each individual party or collectively can go ahead with their steps and what's next on their journey. But that's not going to be the case because ExWHUEmployee has done an update saying that he asked for an update from a source at West Ham, was told the outcome is still sadly 1 or 2 months away. So a huge blow for West Ham and a huge blow for Lucas Paqueta in particular as well. Now, I'm hoping that information proves to be incorrect because about a month ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, we got told by journalists and in the knows that we would hear about Lucas Paqueta's verdict next week, as in 2 or 3 weeks ago, not this one or the one coming up. Basically, there was information given out 3 or 4 weeks ago by various people who speak to other various people, and that information was proven to have been incorrect. Now, to some extent, it could have been true at the time, and it's been pushed back, and it's been pushed back and pushed back even further by the FA. But we were told we would have heard 2 or 3 weeks ago. We haven't. So I'm hoping this update from who I assume is David Sullivan, which would be good news because it means that Wi-Fi is working on his super yacht while he's sunbathing during the transfer window, and it means that he could still be speaking to people in regards to the transfer window. But I assume the update's from Sullivan. I'm just hoping that proves to be incorrect and we hear sooner rather than later. But it's believable because it's the FA and how they've treated Paqueta and how they've treated this case thus far. Now I'm going to separate those two topics and subjects slightly. West Ham United and Lucas Paqueta. I'm going to park Paqueta for now and come at it through the West Ham angle. Because this is bad news for us. Coming into the transfer window, he's a key factor. He is a huge factor in what we can do and what we have to do. Because if he was found not guilty and he wants to leave, we need to replace him. How much are we going to get for him? We don't know. Will anyone actually buy him? We don't know. But at least if he's found not guilty now, that can happen if he wishes to leave. And I wouldn't blame him at all for wanting a fresh start away from West Ham, away from the Premier League, away from England, away from the FA. Would not blame him in the slightest. But at least we'd have time. If he's found not guilty now, we've got the bar one day, we've got the whole summer transfer window to look at moving him on and replacing him. If he was found guilty, then we know that we need to replace him in a different way. We might need to get someone in on loan. The appeal process goes through. I think if he's found guilty, I'd imagine he's going to appeal it and imagine he can still play. It's just that we can't sell and we're stuck with him again. But also, he's stuck with us. But here's the thing. If he was found not guilty and he wanted to leave and we were open to selling him, the club most suited, the one that we were expecting to come in for him again, was Manchester City. He ain't going to be joining Manchester City now. Because the chairman, the Man City chairman, is sat there in an interview saying we are going to get our business done in this summer transfer window. So this summer transfer window we're in now runs until the 10th of June and it closes for 6 days. The chairman is sat there saying we're going to do our transfer business now so that when the Club World Cup starts on the 16th of June, but 18th of June is when Man City's first fixture is, we're ready to rock and roll. Our squad is complete for the new season because they don't need much. They spent big in January and they're trying to cut down on numbers, so they're only going to be bringing in 2 or 3 players. Ait Nouri is someone I've seen linked to them today. Livramento, Reinders. But they were strongly linked to Pep Guardiola, strongly linked to Paqueta as well during the season. That if he's found not guilty, City would come back in for him. Well, that's gone now. Even if he's found not guilty today, it's done. City ain't coming in for him because the chairman is sat there publicly saying, we know what positions we want and we know our top 2 targets for each position. Well, it can't possibly include Lucas Paqueta, can it? Now, of course, there is this scenario that he gets found not guilty and City go, brilliant, let's go in and get him. I find that a huge stretch. I don't believe it in the slightest. So I think the club most likely to come and buy him, if he was found not guilty, I think they're gone. I think they're off the table now. So even if he wanted to move and we wanted to sell him, the number one club that would come in and get him, or the number one club would want to come in and get him, it's gone. His move to City was stopped 2 years ago. 2 years ago it was stopped by the FA going, oh, by the way, we're investigating Paqueta, can't move. It's stopped again. Not that this one is as concrete as that one, but any potential move has been stopped again, this time because they've not reached a verdict, or they've not told us what the verdict is. What's the reason for the delay? Because it feels unnecessary now. The delay feels unnecessary. The only conclusion, ironically, I can reach a conclusion. The only conclusion I can reach is that they've not decided yet. Because if they had, they would have given him the verdict. Then they need to have a separate one, which is, what is the punishment? And we know what the FA are going to try and do, which is ban him for football from life in England, and then push FIFA to ban him worldwide for every jurisdiction under FIFA, ban him completely. So there's more to come, regardless of whether he's guilty or not guilty. Unless he's found not guilty and West Ham's Paqueta turn around and say, right, that's it, we're done, we're not going to pursue anything, we're going to move on. I find that hard to believe, and I hope they don't. I hope they both go for FIFA as much as they both go for the FA as much as they possibly can. I know it's difficult, I know it's a hard corporation to sue, but I do hope they go for them if it's found not guilty. So the only logical conclusion I can come to for this delay is that they're undecided. Well, surely by that rule of thumb, if you're still undecided after all this time, that's got to suggest that he's not guilty, right? Because if he was guilty, you'd have decided by now. It's just frustrating from a West Ham fan perspective, but also a Lucas Paqueta perspective as well. But this, I wouldn't say it screws up our transfer plans, but it certainly throws a spanner right in the works as well. Because that timeline, 1 to 2 months, so that's the start of July, start of August, any time in there. The transfer window will still be open, but by the 1st of August, the well-organised clubs have done their business. Most money, majority of money for most clubs might have been spent by then. They've done their transfer plans. The season starts in 2 weeks. They're ready to rock and roll. So Paqueta might get his non-guilty verdict come the start of August, but then it's too late. Then West Ham might find themselves in a situation where they've got a player saying, brilliant, I can leave now, not guilty, that's it, I can go, sell me. And West Ham might be having to turn around and say, yeah, but there's no one coming in for you. The clubs that could have bought you or would have bought you have bought someone else because we spent the summer waiting while the FA twiddled their bloody thumbs. They're taking the piss now. And I say that as if it suggests like they're starting to. They're continuing to take the piss, the FA are. It's just unnecessary. Then the other angle, the other prism, is Lucas Paqueta. He broke down in tears not that long ago. We played Tottenham. He broke down in tears on the pitch. 60,000 in the stand, millions watching at home. And he's there in the middle of the pitch crying because everything's just got too much for him in this regard. And it's completely understandable. Completely understandable. But the minute that happened, not that it should have taken that, but the minute that happened, there needed to be a sense of what's right at the FA, which is we need to speed this up. We can't allow that to continue. Now, I appreciate the Premier League and the FA are completely separate organisations here, but you're going to get the point I'm away to make. Most of you will. And that is next time the Premier League have their campaign on a weekend, mental health campaign. Oh, this weekend on the Premier League, everyone's wearing whatever colour badge it is for mental health. Do one. Absolutely do one. Because what the FA are doing is completely violating Lucas Paqueta's mental health. We've seen him break down on the pitch. Like I said, it shouldn't have got to that point, but the minute that happened, those in power at the FA should have said, right, we need to get this. This needs to come to a conclusion ASAP, because look what it's doing to him. We now have something greater than did he or did he not do it. We've now got someone's mental health and someone struggling to cope, and we are contributing to that. This has now taken 2 years. That can't be acceptable. the changes, listen, post Lucas Paqueta hearing, there's got to be something put in place to prevent this happening again in future. And I appreciate it takes time to collect evidence, it takes time to conduct interviews, especially when the person is pleading not guilty. But the hearing, the evidence, that's been heard, it's been done. It's been done ages ago now. And for Lucas Paqueta, he's got to wait and wait and wait. Any plans he had this summer of leaving West Ham United, as I always say, cancel. Put them on hold at best, cancel them at worst. Because you might find that you're still at West Ham next season, whether you want to be or not. And you're at West Ham next season because of the FA. Not because of West Ham United, not because of Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta will be at West Ham because of the FA. And that's not right. They're taking the piss out of West Ham United, but more importantly, they're taking the piss out of Lucas Paqueta, the footballer. But the most important thing is they're taking the piss out of Lucas Paqueta, the man, as well. What they're putting him through is just ridiculous. Now, even if it comes to a guilty conclusion, even if the verdict comes back, which is he's guilty, it still doesn't justify what they're doing to him at this moment in time. So when this news came out, I wasn't surprised. 1 to 2 more months. With the FA, anything's possible. They've embarrassed themselves with this hearing case as far as I'm concerned. But what they could have done is just made sure it was done before the transfer window opened so that West Ham knew where they stood and Lucas Paqueta knew where they stood. But we're just in this corridor of uncertainty at the minute and we don't know where the corridor ends, when it ends, and if the FA, once you get there, the FA are even going to open the door to you or not. Paqueta's stuck and West Ham are stuck. And this is the pivotal transfer window for us. We need a lot to go in our favour, as in clubs coming in to buy other players like, say, Mohamed Kudus or Naif Figueroa, the ones that we desire to sell. We are hoping those clubs come in and buy them at the prices that we want. We need a little bit of luck in the sense that the players we identify, we can go and buy them. We need a lot to go our way this summer for us to have a good season next season. And what we do not need is anything making it more difficult and require third parties making it more difficult. And that's what we've got with the FA. Because a lot of what we can and can't do this summer will be determined by Lucas Paqueta. The transfer window opened yesterday and we still don't know what's happening with Lucas Paqueta. And according to ExWHUEmployee, we're not going to find out for another month. Another month. We're now into July. We're into a completely different PSR period. The implications that this has had on him is horrific. But the implications it's currently still having on him and West Ham United, it just feels unjustifiable now. I understand process takes a long time. But what they're waiting on, 3 people to decide if he's guilty or not. Ultimately, that is what we're waiting on. 3 people to decide on whether he's guilty or not guilty. They already know. They've already decided one way or another, individually at least. As soon as that hearing's finished, you will have a gut feeling, won't you? And you go away and think about it and whatever. But they will know whether or not they find him guilty or not guilty at this point. So dragging it out is just inexcusable. And I almost wish, maybe we are doing something. I almost wish West Ham were doing more to speed it up and put pressure on them. Reach out to whoever they have to and get this everywhere and put pressure on the FA and say, come on, make your decision, announce your decision so that we can all start to move on. Like I said, the worst thing is, I think while the hearing might reach a verdict, I don't think it reaches a conclusion because there will be more. If he's found guilty, there will be an appeals process. We'll go over it again. Now, the first appeal is heard within the UK, but if they still find him guilty, there's another appeal process where it goes to CAS, it goes to Switzerland. And Paqueta, I struggle to believe that wouldn't happen because Paqueta is adamant he hasn't done this. So it will keep on going and going and going and going. So while the verdict may be read out soon, 1 to 2 months according to a source at West Ham, there's still more to come. I was hoping naively, well, I say hoping, you're allowed to hope and not believe something's going to happen, right? I hope to win the lottery. Doesn't mean I believe I'm going to win the lottery. I was hoping the verdict will have been announced and we'd have some form of idea what we can do this summer in regards to Lucas Paqueta. But until the FA get a finger out, West Ham are stuck. Lucas Paqueta's stuck. What an absolute disaster this has been, all in all. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm a bit frustrated by it. I think it's because I also have a concern, a mild concern at present over West Ham's transfer window, and it's not helped by knowing that the guy in charge of negotiations is currently sunning it up on a bloody yacht while other Premier League clubs are doing business. That does not help my mood. But this as well doesn't really help it. It's frustrating. I just want to shake someone at the FA and say, can you sort this? Because next time you start banging on about mental health, stop it. Because we know it's virtue signalling. Don't be a hypocrite as well and pretend you care about mental health. You've watched a footballer break down on the pitch in tears, and you've done, actually, I always say, you've done nothing about it. You have done something about it. You've delayed it longer. You've dragged it out longer. Unnecessary. Right, if you're not a patron, now's the time you go. Before you disappear, please do subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat, and also drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. You know the score by now. If you are a patron, just give me a minute. It's not a sales pitch, it's an update. It's easier to tell you on video than it is any other form. Two things. One, I've done a video about PSR. If you're interested, log into Patreon, you can watch it. But two, perhaps the most important one, please can we have your feedback? If you email us, hammerschatpatron@gmail.com, there's a post on Patreon about it. We would just like your feedback about, you can give it about YouTube if you want, but mainly about Patreon, what we're good at, what we're crap at, what you'd like to see, what you enjoy currently, what you perhaps miss, something that we do that you currently don't enjoy, anything, any feedback regarding Patreon would be massively appreciated, because what you send us in the next week or two, we use to shape what we do on Patreon for next season. So if you can email us, that'd be much appreciated. Everyone that does send us feedback, thank you if you have already, because quite a few of you have done so. Anyone that does send us feedback will go into a draw and win a prize, just to say thank you for taking the time to let us know your thoughts. Anyway, patrons, thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.